Hello everybody, my name is Sideman and in today's video I'm going to be reviewing Spyfall Part 1, the first episode of Series 12. And before we get started, spoiler alert, huge, massive spoiler alert. Seriously, if you've not watched the episode, do not watch this. There is one huge twist in it, which if you've watched the episode you'll probably know. That blew my mind. So if you have not seen the episode, do not watch this. Do not have this twist spoiled for you. So, overall, I was kind of half hoping this would be amazing, which ultimately for me it turned out to be. But I was kind of half expecting it not to be. Chibnall did do a very underwhelming series for Series 11 last year. So I was really kind of hoping that it wouldn't be like that, but sort of half expecting it to be. But I have to say, it is nowhere near as bad as Series 11. This isn't bad at all. This, in my opinion, is absolutely incredible. This episode is just amazing. I just love everything about this episode. I know some people have some problems with it. I don't really care that much about the problems in this episode. So, what are the things I liked in the episode that made it just so good for me? Well, I have to say, all the companions had quite a lot to do with it, and they all probably delivered their best performance. I think everyone in this episode delivered their best performance as their character. I think the Doctor worked really well. I think that the companions worked really well. And Yaz had something to do. Graham was just good as usual. And Ryan became quite likeable in this episode, which he wasn't really in any other episodes. So, another thing I want to talk about, something I really liked about the episode, were the monsters. I felt that the monsters worked really well, and I really liked them. And they're definitely the best monsters in Chibnall's era so far. I don't know what it is about them, but there was something right. Just either the way Jodie Whittaker's Doctor reacted to them, or just the way they just felt so intimidating the whole time, and felt like they were the controlling beings in the room. It just felt like the Doctor was in danger. Because in Series 11 I never felt like they're actually in danger. This episode was the first time where I felt like someone could die, or is in actual danger. And the main thing I absolutely loved about the episode was the ending. The last 5 minutes of this episode were perfect, with the reveal of the Master. I was not expecting that at all, and as usual I was completely wrong about what the ending was. I thought it was going to end with the Doctor King's up to 1943 Paris. No! It ended with the reveal that O was actually the Master, and he plays the Master in this to perfection. He plays him as the Master I always wanted. So if he plays him like this in episode 2, then episode 2 is going to be spectacular. And this scene, this final 5 minutes, I just can't get it out of my head. It was that good. So you have the Doctor, and he says he's never been good at sprinting, and it was like, never been good at sprinting, and he's like, last place in every race at school. And the Doctor says she's red as file, and he's a champion sprinter. And he just stands there and says, got me. I was like, well, he's evil. At no point did I expect him to then go on and reveal himself to be the Master. Because I thought I'd give the Master a break, but no, he's back. In the form of Sacha Dhawan, who plays him perfectly for the 5 minutes he gets in this episode. Anyway, he says they best take a look out the window. And my reaction when they look at the window and looked at his house, I was just like, what? How can that be there? And then it sort of started to make sense that he might be a Time Lord, but I'm thinking, no, they're not going to do that. He's not the Master, is he? They're not doing that. And then the Doctor says, oh, and I'm like, what's going on? He says, I did tell you to look for the Spy Master, and I'm thinking, he is not the Master. No, and he said the Spy Master, and I literally said out loud, no way. It just blew my mind. And then the way he plays the Master after that with the tissue compression device from the classic series, that was nice. That was a nice thing there. And then he just goes from manic child laughter to serious psychopathic killer master in the space of a second. It works so well. He goes, I've had a lot of fun, and starts clapping his hands together and laughing manically. To the Doctor and friends going, and the Doctor asks, where's Barton? And they're all serious. He's like, one question, check the seat. He feels so intimidating, because sometimes he acts really weak and feeble when he's acting like a child and having manic fits of laughter. But then when he does stuff like check the seat, you know that he definitely is not weak at all. And when he reveals himself to be the Master and is walking towards them, and he goes past the Doctor and he says, I'm her greatest enemy. I'm thinking in my head at this point, yes you are. So episode 2 is an hour long. That's an hour of Sacha Dhawan being the Master. So I have a feeling we are definitely going to be in for a treat with that episode, because the final 5 minutes of this episode were perfect. Now, people do have some problems with this episode, and I can see why. I think probably the weakest part of the episode, although still quite enjoyable and good for me, was the James Bondy bit in the casino, but that didn't really go on for too long. But I don't know, I quite liked it. I really liked everything about this episode. Another thing I really liked was the sense of urgency it had, because in Series 11, as I said, they were never really in danger. In this episode, they're in the car, it starts attacking them. They're in LMI6, and they start getting attacked. There's nowhere they're safe. They're on the airplane with, oh, it's all fine, no, oh, it's the Master. Everything about this episode just felt really urgent, fresh, new. And part of me couldn't believe this was a Chibnall era episode. It really was just absolutely incredible, and it definitely stands to me as my favourite Jodie Whittaker episode so far. So, overall, I give Spyfall Part 1 a 10 out of 10. Maybe it's just because of the ending, it's made me just, it was perfect ending, maybe that's the reason, but this definitely deserves a 10 out of 10 from me, for just amazing acting, great sense of urgency, really creepy and great monsters, a lot of great setup, character development, performances, and a perfect final 5 minutes leading to an amazing cliffhanger with one massive reveal which no one saw coming. And I do complain that Chibnall keeps a lot of this stuff secret, but if he's keeping stuff like the Master returning and everything else secret and no one's expecting it and they just come back, then I am fine with him doing that. So, Spyfall Part 1, what did you think about it? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I thought it was absolutely incredible, but if you've been watching this review, you probably know that. I've been Cyberman Alf. This has been an incredible episode of Doctor Who. I cannot wait for Part 2. But for me, for now, it's goodbye.